Okay. What's up, everybody? How's it going? This is Big Stowe, and obviously we have Nora here on the other side. It is her birthday today. Happy birthday, Nora. How are you feeling today?
Think honestly, this might be the first best birthday I've ever had. You know this. My birthday always makes me so anxious. I haven't cried today. I feel loved. I like I'm good.
Good, good, good,
Yeah.
good, good. Awesome. All right, so we obviously had original plans for tonight, but those did not work out. So I have all these questions to ask that are, I guess, a little more like personal and whatnot. Because I feel like all our episodes that are intros or whatever, even as I was watching them back the other day, um, like it's our intros are just so professional and and stuff like that. So I figured I'd ask some questions that are a bit more personal, but also just some wild cards to throw in there and stuff like that.
Let's do it. Oh, thank you, Serial Sensei. Uh, thank you. Says he'll be making some dinner, aka chicken tenders. Sounds delicious.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I sent out my newsletter the other day and I titled it as like, yo, I'm finally taking my own advice. Cause we talk all the time about telling artists, you got to put yourself out there and like mystery is not a vibe and no one's going to connect with you if you're just so mysterious all the time. Yet, what do? But I hide behind my work all this. Like most people, like, I don't really think I share any part of myself. And so I was like, all right, like, time to take my own advice, face my own anxiety. And I sent out this newsletter that kind of tied those pieces together, but also shared some of the things that people might not know about me. And it was so interesting because it's always those kind of personal, like this, the more scared I feel about sending a newsletter, the more response I get from people and the more receptive they are. And so it was just so validating, even though I tell people all the time to recognize my own fear, to feel the fear and do it anyway. And then to see the reception that like people do, like that kind of content does well because people do want to hear from you. So I say all that to say I'm excited now. Whereas before, I think I would have been so scared about all the questions you're asking me. Now I'm like, bring it on. And
right,
shout out
right.
to Sandroid who's joining us. I'm so happy y'all are here. Thank you for hanging out with us today. So, anyways, I'm going to stop talking now still.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Um, Obviously, just like random housekeeping stuff, make sure you subscribe, leave a like if you can. And honestly, leave questions. For Nora, we'll probably do this again at some point anyway.
I love
So, yeah, definitely leave those. And then, yeah, we'll be back. Oh, dang, I just looked at the spreadsheet too. I believe it's like June 2nd or 7th or something like that. We're going to do some other stuff in between there, but our next full episode is actually about taking critique, if I'm correct on that. So yeah, make sure you join us for that.
Which is a good one because a lot of you
it's a really good one, yeah.
A lot of you spam the DMs, which you shouldn't do anyway, and then say something so vague about tell me what you think. And so we'll talk about like how to ask for feedback, how to give useful feedback. So I think it'll be a good one. And if you have any specific questions, send those in too, because the more we know what you're struggling with, the more we can build an episode around that.
Exactly. Shouts to Indio as well.
Thanks, Indio. Y'all making me feel so loved.
Okay, yeah, let's do this. I was gonna try to figure out what the episode was actually called because I think it was 4 things, but who cares? All right, here we go. I got like 12 questions here, so I'm sure we won't get through all of them. So I'm gonna try to pick the most important ones. But so you're 37.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to be 37? Because I feel like that's important.
It doesn't feel like anything, but it feels better than like 27.
Right, right, right.
I love knowing everything that I know now that I didn't know then. So like, yeah, I think it feels great. It feels very stable and settled and like grounded.
And then this one, I just honestly I saw this the other day, and even I mean I'm 31, and I feel like our 20s was just like, for me anyway, definitely was a stressful time. I feel like it's stressful for everyone. I feel like I saw a post or something like that the other day that was like, I'm about to turn 30, like, give me some advice on like how, like where I should be. And I feel like that's pertinent because I do remember like being like, shit, I'm 30, I ain't got shit together right now. What's going on? So like, what advice would you give to someone that's about to enter their 30s?
Um, I mean, you know this. Time is not real. So turning 30 or 37 or 40 like means nothing. Like those
Right.
benchmarks are all arbitrary things. So if you're comparing yourself to some timeline, like let that shit go.
But I'm gonna push you a little bit actually. Why does that not matter? Why does that not matter? Because again, I know for me, even me as someone who like, obviously I believe in time, but like not that hard. Even I was like 30, like shit, like what? I don't know if where I'm supposed to be. And I mean, I made the mistake of comparing myself to where my mom was at 30, which was radically different. So yeah, I know time is nothing, but why shouldn't we be as stressed even at 30 after, just getting out of college or wherever you're at that point in life?
Because a lot of those measures are created by white supremacy or created by patriarchy or created by systems that you get to decide if that means anything for you. So for women, for example, right? And for cis women, there's a lot of pressure around cis hetero women. There's a lot of pressure around like, you got to get married and you're no good if you're not married and you're like rot, you're like stale or you're rotten if you haven't been married. Who says that? That's not a real thing at all, right? Your value doesn't decrease the longer you've been single. There's nothing wrong with you, right? And so the more you start to like question, where does that idea come from? Oh, well, that's patriarchal thinking that wants to uplift like youth, right? And or you see, oh, that's white supremacist thinking that values this, or a lot of our ideas of success come from capitalism. And so you can decide if those are things that have value for you, but question whether or not they actually are valuable for you. And then the other thing is like, don't skip your personal work, which I think everyone should go to therapy, like invest in your mental health, invest in like working through the shit that holds you back. Sorry. So yeah, I think those would be the two biggest things. Like stop putting yourself on a timeline that doesn't exist and give yourself time to work on yourself.
The only thing I'll ask to go with that is like, how do you stop putting yourself on a timeline? I feel like I kind of have stopped doing that because it's just like at this point, like it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. At this point, like I'm doing my best out here. God damn it. So, but still, like I feel like that pressure still, and we got an important question there. We'll cover that in just a second. But I still feel like it can be hard not to put yourself on that timeline.
Yeah, I mean, so really, really like the more you do that like personal work, and it doesn't have to necessarily be through therapy. I read Bell Hooks' All About Love, and that was incredibly healing for me. I read Yaa Gyasi's Homegoing, which is fiction. Completely like changed the way I understood my family systems. Even something like journaling regularly, like just creating a space where, so under these like systems of oppression, what that does.
Shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into like a guidance, like therapy session. It's supposed to be like a fun thing, and I feel like I'm just asking questions. My bad.
No. But can I tell you honestly, still, like, it's because I became comfortable with myself through these things that I can even get on stage and be like, hey, y'all, I have shit to say that you should listen to. I do remember when we started office hours, I couldn't even do Instagram Live.
I remember.
But the more I And now like I can be like, hey y'all, it's my birthday, love on me. I couldn't have done that 2 years ago. And so
I still can't do that.
We're gonna get you there. Or even like, win a date with Nora. I never would have put myself out there in that way. But the more I connect to myself, because I think what happens under these systems of oppression and in families that have survived under these systems of oppression, we're separated at a really young age from who we are. We're told not to be, oh, you're too emotional, make your feelings small. Oh, don't dance, don't express yourself this way. And a lot of parents done by trying to like dominate and control us. And so we learn to shrink and we learn to constantly be aware of other people's reactions or responses and what will they think. And if I don't do this, I might not be loved, because we learn that love comes conditionally. And so doing that me work of like healing my shit, working through my trauma, unlearning that love is about what you do, but just who you are, or learning that love is about who you are, not what you do. Like all of that is what allows me to show up in a space like this and be vulnerable and talk about myself and ask people to come to my workshop or, and so it's not as disconnected as it seems. And for me, like when people ask me questions, it makes me feel like they care and are interested. So I really see question asking and curiosity as a love language. So I really appreciate that folks are engaging. Yeah, can I share this? Serial Sensei says, I stopped putting myself on the timeline when I realized plenty of adults were just like me and still trying to figure things out. And like, that's the thing is we're all, for me, one of the biggest things was I struggled with a long time with like loneliness. And I think there's a lot of shame around loneliness. But once I started talking about it, I realized other people feel the same way too. And then I could build a community. And so, yeah, like a lot of these things, we think we're the only ones, and we're not. Shout out to Lorenzo, who's here with us. Y'all, Lorenzo has a podcast where both So and I have been guests, so y'all should definitely check that out. Shout out to Karen, who's here. I'm so happy to see all of you. Oh, wait, Sandroid had a question, though.
Right.
What do you recommend for people who can't afford therapy? One, if you do need help finding therapy or you have questions about therapy, like you don't know what to expect, my DMs are always open. I'm happy to explain to you like what different therapy might be like, how to find a good therapist, like all of that. I won't ask you like hella questions, but just kind of help you find what you need. So I want to put that out there. Therapy. So there's a bunch of good, like just Instagram accounts that you can start to learn some of the just like reading and studying and like different like Instagram accounts where what they offer is a different kind of frame, a different reframe or a perspective shift. And then you can think about how it might apply to you. Journaling is huge. There's tons of like podcasts or videos you can watch. So it doesn't, like therapy is a tool. It doesn't have to be for everybody. But being intentional about, okay, this is a part of me that I struggle with and exploring it rather than running away from it. Because that's really what therapy is, right? You take something and you explore it, can be helpful regardless of like what your budget or timeline is like.
Journaling's helped me a ton.
Yeah.
I will admit that. I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be, but it does help get things out. All right. My goodness, we spent like half the time on capitalist garbage. All right. So here we go. Okay. I'm going to actually mix these up. I was going to go in order, but the next question is pretty heavy. So let's go on to the next one. Are you a glass half empty or full type person? But you got to be honest. I don't just want to hear I'm half full. Okay, No,
I'm not a glass half full. I'm like the glass is what it is. I mean, I also struggle with depression, right? So like I see.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely a half empty guy.
I'm a very much like the glass. Really, I'm like a glass is what it is. And I'm like, why? Why can't the glass be half full? Does everyone else have, can we redistribute the wealth?
Who has the more full glass? Someone around here has the
I'm
other
like,
half.
who has a full glass and can we all share? Is really
Right.
bad.
Right. Kick over the glass.
We see serial sensitive out here causing trouble.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay, here we go. I actually do like this one. It's been a minute since I've even heard this question. But you're stranded on an island. You need 5 things. It says 3, but I like 5 better because that's a little easier. What 5 things are you bringing? It can only be those 5. It can't be any more or less. Can we cut the glass in half? And that be, yeah, but that's 1.
Okay, for sure push.
All right. Hey, yeah, leave the questions. Leave the questions in the chat. We'll definitely answer them.
Okay,
so Nora will answer them. Excuse me.
Please, y'all know when Stowe's birthday comes around, we're absolutely doing this again. But anyways, definitely taking push. Definitely taking like journal and pens. Can I take like a whole library?
No, you can't do it. It has to be feasible. And pens and the notebook, that's 2 things. So you have 2 things left.
Right. Pens, notebooks, push.
Actually, no. I'll let you package the 2 together. It doesn't make sense to bring a journal in.
Because I'm assuming all my survival things are taken, or do I have to take like a fire starter and a machete?
No. You don't have to take all the survival stuff. There's no point in that. What's the point of the question?
I didn't know.
I need some water, a water source, bow and arrow, so I can kill some food.
So like luxury things.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, I mean that's really all I would need. Maybe I would take
a journal, a pen, push, and that's it.
Yeah, and books.
Okay, like you can in the book category, you can bring 3 books, but that's it. You can't just be bringing books.
I have a book obsession. Do you know what's funny is like, so growing up in California, when we see, no.
I haven't been reading the comments. My goodness.
Indio saying, dang, a whole library, but no boat to book it off.
Oh my God. Yeah.
but this is not survival, right? This is like, otherwise I'd be like, give me an airplane and take me off the island.
Right.
But
and it just defeats the purpose of the question.
But no, growing up in California, they used to make us make these like earthquake kits that we would take to school in case we were at school and there was an earthquake. And it was always like, have like water and some like food to eat and an activity to keep you busy. And, you know, we take like granola, like nothing that if there was a real emergency, we would survive on, like a chewy.
Right.
But I used to always really worry about like boredom is a really painful emotion for me. And so I used to worry about like, oh, I would be bored. And now as an adult, of course, I realize that there is no boredom during the apocalypse. And I'd have to be like finding water and like hunting down. So like, there's no time for boredom, but that's like really something that's still kind of in the back of my
head. That's a good one.
What would be a certain food that you'd have to have on the island? I mean, okay, so for sure, like if I could have this Persian stew that's walnut pomegranate called fesenjoon, that would be very comforting to have on the island. It's fesenjoon, and it's delicious, and it's like kind of tart and sour.
All right, there we go. Perfect. Just to go off of Push, why? I already know, obviously, but why is your dog named Push?
Oh, he's named Push because he's named after Pusha T. And his dad's who I co-parent him with, they were gonna try to name him Marcus Garvey. They were gonna try to name him Nori, like Noriega, and then they said Drake, and I was like, definitely we're not naming this cute little puppy Drake. So then someone said Pusha T, and I said Push. And that's how he came to be called Push. But he has that energy anyway.
All right, perfect. I think you've told me this one before, to be completely honest, but What's the weirdest date that you've been on?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I went on a date with a guy. This was the second date. And first date was cool. Second date, like as soon as we sit down, he starts telling me how him and his friends had gone to a sex worker and didn't pay her, and how funny that was that they hadn't.
Good
So
Lord.
already I'm like, and then he starts talking about how he went on a date with this woman and he has a foot fetish and she wouldn't take her socks off, and he got so mad that this woman didn't want to take her socks off, and how he like forced her socks off. So we're already on 2 red flags, and I'm already trying to figure out how I can fast
Get an
forward.
escape plan.
Yeah, like that. And then he starts talking about how he used to be previously engaged, but he felt no empathy, and the woman called it off, and now he has yes, I'm looking at these comments. Abort mission. Yes, exactly.
What?
And so by the end of this date, I'm convinced that this man is a sociopath. Like I couldn't wait to get out. And he like says so we're like going our separate ways, and he says something about 100% that was a red flag, that you don't respect sex workers and you think that not paying, like 100%. And so he makes a comment about, oh, you probably hate me. And I'm like, haha, like I'm trying to make an
yeah, fuck you.
and he like comes
what?
in to hug me, and I'm like, I don't know what's gonna set this dude off. And then he has a foot fetish. So then which no judgment, right? Like whatever your kink is. But this dude reaches down, sticks his hand inside my I had on these like ankle boots, sticks his hand down inside my shoe to like caress the arch of my ankle. And it took everything in me not to kick him in the face.
In the face. Like,
as he did so. Yeah, that's a memorable one. And on top of all of this, he still texted me the next day to argue with me about how great J. Cole is.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that part. You definitely told me that part too.
Yeah.
Ay.
Yeah.
All right, cross that one off the list.
Why this was supposed to be win a date with Nora, because it's hard out here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna go on the complete other side of that.
Hold on.
Oh boy, here we go. All
yes.
Right, let me just let's just nope. I know we're just getting started.
But I just want to say, there you can that's all. I don't even need to say anything. Yes. Go ahead. You had more questions.
Yeah. Okay, so the opposite side of that. I'm always interested in this question. Do you believe in love at first sight?
Yeah. I think we like. I believe in sometimes you just connect with someone right away. I think love has to do with like how we define love, and there's so many different kinds of love. So yeah, I 100% think that it's possible to connect with someone the moment I don't know if you're like, if I see you across the train tracks and I'm like, oh, and I create like some fantasy in my head and we've never talked. Not so much, but I do think that like you can meet someone and have a certain kind of
Yeah. Oh boy.
Also, yeah. I'm looking at all these comments. So yeah, no, I do. I believe that like sometimes you just meet someone and you connect. I'm a sucker for that. Contrary to like all my kind of like fuck the system, like I know I come off kind of hard sometimes, but I'm a sucker for love and love stories.
All right. Dang. Okay. This one's like slightly professional, but I wish I would have asked this before. Like, what's a class that you would take, and then what's a class that you haven't taught yet that you would like to teach?
I would love to take a like a legal class, like law. just so I have a better sense of what the actual what like US law is. A class that I would like to teach that I haven't taught. I don't know. I have been thinking about like a niche class, like how to identify your niche and build, build that out.
We should talk about that.
About the class. It's like just early in my thoughts, and I'm actually thinking
No,
about
of course not.
about doing
I think
it.
I wrote that down actually.
Oh, we might have talked about it.
No, I just like one day I just like wrote down stuff that I would want to teach, and I'm pretty sure I had that in mind. So
that's so funny. Yeah. So maybe niche. I have an idea about doing it like WhatsApp based or email based or something like that.
Right.
Oh, this is a good. I have no idea. My favorite romance movie. I can't even think of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I know my two off rip.
What are yours?
No, I'm not talking about this right now. No. Maybe around my birthday.
Oh my God. You're not even going to help me out to think about.
No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, Love and Basketball is probably my favorite. But I'm also, unfortunately, a sucker for The Notebook.
I've never seen The Notebook.
I've seen it way too many times.
Does Shrek count as a romance?
If it does, I would definitely throw that in my top 5 at least.
Like my go-to is like any of those Pixar, Shrek, The Penguins of Madagascar. Like, I love that shit. So yeah, Shrek is a love story. And favorite bad romance movie? What's that one? It's hard because I watch everything through such a critical lens. So like I'll watch what's that? Like Love Actually and be like, but do you see how this is toxic behavior? And do you
have I seen that?
You've never seen Love Actually? Even I've seen that one.
I probably have. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've definitely seen it.
This is a good one. Ideal first date with a book or movie title. It'd be something like The Library or The Notebook. Or something, I don't know, something like that.
I'd have to go with like an album title. I don't even know what I'd choose though.
Yeah. I mean, my ideal first date, low key, like if we just spent a couple hours at the bookstore, I'd be so happy. But you can tell so much about someone and how they, like, what titles are they drawn to? How can they like build a conversation out of something? Do they feel like they have to explain a topic to you, or can you? I don't know. I feel like it's a good first date spot. Hey, Eric. Welcome to Eric.
Yeah, what's up, Eric?
Eric also has a podcast that both Stowe and I are on, and y'all should check out. Those of you with the podcasts, feel free to drop those links in the chat. And I love seeing everyone talk to each other. It makes me feel like we're a community.
I actually don't think I've listened to your episode with Eric yet.
I don't think it's not out yet.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think I've seen a link or anything like that.
Eric is like super planning ahead.
Yeah. He's a pro at that. He's a pro at that for sure. Okay, let's see. What will my last question be? Honestly, yeah. My last question is going to be, what do you value in a relationship?
Honesty, transparency, more like, and this is true in all kinds of relationships. Like, don't lie to me. If this is green and you tell me it's orange and I know it's green, I'm gonna be like, bye. Like, I have zero chill for any kind of dishonesty. Like, and when I meet people, it's usually like one of the first things I tell them. But besides that, like, I'm really big on communication. I'm really big on how people like show up for others. So like compassion. This is absolutely the truth. Yeah, like I think about relationships as can we like are we willing to put in the same amount of work? And are we willing to put in the same amount of work to get to the same place? And if that's the case, then like we can decide how our relationship is. I don't necessarily believe in categories or titles, but we can decide together what we're working towards. So really, like I see it as teamwork. Can I answer this question? Thoughts on dates at the dog park? I like it. But it also feels kind of intimate because now you know what dog park I go to, and now you know like what my routine is a little bit. So if you're a creeper in some way, I feel like it's a little risky, but it's also watching someone and how they interact with their dog. Also, I think gives me a lot of insight into the kind of person that they are. So maybe not for a first date, but I like it in the future. I also meet people at the dog park, which is fun. So, shout out to Cheetah Girl J, who's with us. What's the most ridiculous lie someone's told you? That's a good question. You mean like in a relationship? I mean, I've had someone pretend to be like a whole other person than who they really were. Like complete disconnect from reality. So that, but then also like I had someone who just lied about the most basic, like unnecessary, like why are you lying? Like unnecessary things. But to me, like there can't be, my thing about not lying is there's no vulnerability without, if you're lying, there's no trust. Without trust, there's no security. Without security, there's no vulnerability. And without vulnerability, there's no intimacy and connection. So it like really, really is foundational. Oh, dates at the food court give you a lot of insight, says Eric. Sandroid, I'm going to save that story for another time. That's a long story. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to end on a more positive note. But okay, so here we go. Here's one. What is the most fulfilling project you've worked on up to this point?
Damn, all of them. I don't work on anything that doesn't excite me. I love office hours. I love like that we just get to show up and talk. I love Den Music Fest and like the community that we've built, and like all the artists that we get to work with, and like a lot of my like most recent favorite artists are coming out of Den Music Fest. I love Culture Fix. And we have a Discord now that I'm so excited about, that some of you who are here are also in that space. I'm on the board of an organization that does wealth redistribution work, and I'm super India with these jokes. Like I feel that's like really close to my heart. I don't like. It's like asking me to pick my favorite kid. I can't. And every time one of my clients has a win, whether it's like so small or so, I'm just they all like, you know me, I'm not big on hierarchy. So like I value them all equally.
Good. Perfect. All right. That's a bit of a longer one today, but I'm glad that we went through these questions and stuff like that. I believe in the description I have Nora's Cash App and Venmo. So send her something, anything. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave more questions, honestly, because honestly, hoping as we do more things like this, more people will just ask questions and we can just have entire Q&A episodes or whatever. So yeah, please leave your on anything, literally, for either of us, honestly. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Nora, any final words, thoughts?
I just feel so loved, and like, so I appreciate you so much, and get like, yeah, thank y'all for celebrating my birthday with me.
Good. All right, y'all. Honestly, I think the chat still goes, I think, for a little bit as things wind down. So definitely feel free to keep building and whatnot. We will be back in June. I think we have some other stuff planned on other platforms or whatever, but definitely subscribe. We'll be back in June talking about critiques and stuff like that. Get some water, get some rest, and we will all talk soon. All right. Peace, everyone.
Bye, y'all.